What up, virgins? Man, it's fucking hot. Anyone who likes JavaScript is a cock. I'm a JavaScript hater, you could say. But beyond the JavaScript hate, so obviously everyone has seen, and it's been already all over YouTube and the Bird app. Unfortunately, I'm late to the game. You could say I'm almost like late, as in I'm pregnant late, which is completely fine. As a GrapheneOS user and enjoyer, one of the best security features that it has right out the bat is a duress pin. We're going to look at what a duress pin is, or why you should enable it regardless of your country's quote-unquote laws, because security and privacy should always be the option. There should be nothing. I have nothing to hide, so that this seems like it is, you're trying to hide something, which is cuck behavior, and we do not enjoy or embrace digital cuck behavior. Digital cuck behavior is essentially when you bend your knees because you are one of the privacy advocates, but you are a normie in the sense, well, I have nothing to hide. Having nothing to hide isn't really essentially the point. The point is you should have the right to wipe your device at any point at your discretion, regardless of what the content is on the device. It is not the point. If you live in a society where you have to constantly worry about what is considered quote unquote illegal and not legal, is realistically the problem. Laws aren't created always from morality. Morality doesn't always create laws. And from a political stance, a lot of government agencies and countries aren't going to be in favor of a person being able to wipe the device when they want. I don't think it's a crime to be able to wipe your device whenever you want. I think you should be able to wipe it whenever you want. This whole tampering with evidence is a bunch of bullshit. It's a scapegoat, you could say, because it is illegal in the eyes of, the federal government and or your country to make sure that you are a good boy and you are compliant with this arbitrary thinking process. Everyone in the context does have things to hide. They have things to hide, whether they're illegally to hide or non-illegal to hide, morally and non-morally. That's not the point. Everyone has things to hide. If you are being held at knife or gunpoint and someone asks for your phone, what would you rather have? The ability to wipe your device and hand it to them so that they don't be able so they can't break into your bank account, XYZ, take any good Monero financial information off there that would compromise your wallet or your keys. This is why I'm in favor of a hardware wallet. But the point is, you should be able to defend yourself in the sense of a digital sense. You should be able to take your device and wipe it when you think it is in an emergency. And an emergency is subjective. That can be quite literally anything. You could have lost your phone, and guess what Google gives you the option to remotely wipe your device. You could be pulled over and there could be something on there that you do not want the cops to see, whether it's legal or not, and they shouldn't be able to see that. It is not their job to know what you did on a Tuesday night. It is not their job to be able to search your phone whenever they want. I think your phone is personal property. Personal property should have the utmost respect and enjoyment, and it shouldn't be this difficult for people to understand. So recently, GrapheneOS says the Duress password is legal despite users facing federal charges. GrapheneOS Duress PIN could land a man in prison. GrapheneOS defends data wiping function that blocks U.S. border search. Remember, when you go over the border, your device is no longer yours, and we understand that. But if you wipe your device, as you should, before you cross the border, you 100% should do this. You should also look into the fact that not only when you're in a different country and you have no rights, you should upload your content to an encrypted cloud provider or put it on an encrypted USB and then use it over there. And then again, when you are crossing the border, you should repeat the process. I do this every time I travel. I do not trust border security. I do not trust the government. I do not trust the government of another country to do the right thing. They don't know the context of what you're looking at. They could take it out of context and it could land you in butt-pounding federal prison. Real butt-pounding jail, as the lawyer dude from the Boondocks said, which you do not want to do. So we're going to look at this from Unfortunate, MSN.com, that has 500 ads per scroll. Sam Tunick, an Atlanta activist, is now charged under 18 U.S.C. 2232A for allegedly destroying property to prevent lawful seizure. This is the first known U.S. federal case built around the phone's built-in self-wiping feature. And if you carry a surveillance app or a smartphone across the border, the outcome matters. I'm going to quote Sam Bent for a second, that the problem with this is there are so many laws and there's so many United States codes that you quite literally don't know you are committing a crime. You don't know that you're committing a federal crime. You don't know when you're committing a federal crime. You don't know who you committed a federal crime in front of. That is the problem. There is too much code. There is too much law. It is too complicated. I think hundreds, if not thousands, of new laws get passed every 1 to 2 years, I believe, is the statistic. Every congressional changeover, like when we move over to different Congress, different governors, different presidential people, they change laws, put laws into effect, and you're not going to keep up with it. It is not possible. It will never be possible. Even if you feed an infinite AI machine to feed you new laws every fucking day for the rest of your life for an infinite amount of time, you will never learn the law. It is too complicated. This is the problem. This is why we have to hire fucking kangaroo lawyers in Kangaroo Town and Kangaroo Court and Kangarooville. It is impossible to know. And it's designed, when you think about it, it's designed to make sure that you are always compliant with every single step of the way. Just like when I go to the airport, they ask me if they can do facial recognition. They don't even ask. They're like, please look at the camera. I look at them and tell them, no, thank you. I want to reject this. They say, okay. And then before they do the body searching or anything, like the body scanning, whatever it is, I tell them I do not want to do that. And they're like, absolutely. But they don't even give you the option. You have to request it. So people look at you, they look at you like you're fucking crazy because you want to reject the surveillance state. You want to reject facial and body scanning. You want to reject biometric and facial body scanning. But you are the crazy person. Remember that. And then if I remind you, if you do reject this and you are comfortable, they ask you if you want to go to a private room to be frisked. Do not do it. Because doing it in front of everyone sets a tone in front of everybody that you are rejecting this and they should too. The more people that reject the surveillance state, the better it becomes. And in my opinion, it is the best thing you can do for yourself. And then we're going to look into how to set up a Duress pen. I think it is one of the best options that you can do, whether it's legal or not. So how a Duress pen actually works. GrapheneOS doesn't unlock when it receives a Duress code. It destroys the keys instead. Unlike a normal passcode, GrapheneOS's Duress pen destroys the cryptographic key material protecting encryption data. This physical phone stays in the agent's hands. That data becomes unrecoverable noise. GrapheneOS's Toronto-based foundation describes it as a minor option with a broad security model that includes auto reboot timers and profile isolation. Features are designed to resist forensic extraction without a nuclear option. The case so far, the fact that the one quote and one open question has no court answered. The incident was filed in November 13th of 2025. The North District Georgia case 125 CR 4999. Tucker has pled not guilty and moved to suppress the evidence, alleging the agents failed to provide the Miranda warnings and denied his request of counsel. The status historically charges physical destruction, flushing drugs down a toilet, not erasing encrypted files, and legal analysis of S2232A has never been applied to encrypted content inside the device that remains government custody. Data cannot be recovered after the key derivative material is reliably wiped. It is not possible, and there's nothing we can do to assist with it. GrapheneOS Foundation via X. Yes, Canada's extradite people to the United States under formal 1971 extradition treaty and Canada's extradition. GrapheneOS is completely legal. We have no obligation to weaken any of the security protection it provides. Creating and using GrapheneOS is strongly protected by the U.S. Constitution. Laws attempting to make it illegal or require weakening the security would be unconstitutional, which is based. And Canada should take note. Quit being a fucking a cuck maple leaf. And you should protect your citizens. Your citizens should have the right to privacy, and your citizens should have the right to be able to securely wipe the device without any due process. It does not matter if the contents in there was, quote unquote, in the eyes of the law, illegal. It is clown town to think that. If you have sensitive messages, maybe medical documents, some people like to store everything on their device in a non-cloud encrypted format. That should be allowed to be deleted and forgotten for the rest of the remaining of time. I still strongly urge people to set up a Duress pen, even if they decide not. My personal take: wipe your device, back up your device, back it up to an encrypted cloud provider, wipe it, reset it up in the country you are. Put a Duress pen on it, call it a day. I'm not a lawyer, so remember that. The software is legal, but timing is everything. GrapheneOS is not banned. Having a Duress pen configuration is not a crime. The exposure at this prosecution frames it comes from triggering and wiping an active boot border search. The Foundation's own documentation warns that using this feature under actual duress can carry physical or legal consequences. For travelers worried about legal risks, strong encryption combination with auto reboot may be the configuration that keeps data locked without handing prosecutors a workable theory. The risk isn't owning the tool whether you use it, and the concerns about secretly tracking users underscores why so many travelers rely on privacy-hardening devices in the first place. I would even say after you physically wipe your device, upload it to an encrypted cloud provider or encrypted flash drive, restore your device, enable a Duress pen, and after you enable a Duress pen, enable the shortest, most convenient auto reboot feature. Those are super important for hardening your device. People may not understand now, but they will understand in the future. From coolest cars to must-have gadgets. Okay, that's good. Fuck you, MSN. GrapheneOS Duress pen could land a man in prison. A U.S. man is being prosecuted after allegedly using GrapheneOS Duress pen to wipe his phone, his Pixel, during a border search. GrapheneOS is often one of the most drastic privacy more drastic privacy tools, which is bullshit, by the way. This is such a fucking cuck type of article. I hate these people. I think Android Authority is fucking retarded half the time. It is not a drastic privacy. Drastic privacy means that it is the most extreme. People should just have privacy and security. This should be a standard. This shouldn't be drastic. I don't care what wording they're using for their fucking gay SEO bullshit, but it boils like my blood when I read shit like this. And this may seem like a very small portion of like what the idea is. It is not drastic to care about privacy. It is not drastic to care about security. It should be the standard. We should have the option to be private. We should have the option to have a secure phone. But we don't have these options because these lazy manufacturers want to be a bunch of fucking cucks. And I don't even like using that word because I think lazy is just willingness. But they don't have the willingness to care about its users at the end of the day. On the Android phone, known as a Duress pin, a pin, the dummy pin wipes the device instead of unlocking it. For the user in the situations when you may be forced to hand over access to the device against your will, we've previously seen the value of such a code, but we did wonder if using this feature around law enforcement could create a legal minefield. And it appears that the U.S. prosecution in this process is giving us an answer. It's not really giving us an answer. He hasn't been charged yet. He's not in prison yet. He's not fucking... The case isn't over, so suck my balls. A U.S. man is being prosecuted allegedly offering a GrapheneOS Duress pin that wiped his Pixel. These charges treats allegation wiped to destruction of property intended to prevent the government seizure. The incident happened during a border search at the Atlanta airport after agents demanded access to his phone. According to The Guardian, the U.S. Department of Justice is prosecuting Atlanta resident Sam Tunick after allegedly giving GrapheneOS a Duress pin while the border agents were trying to search his Google Pixel phone. Experts told the public that he had not seen a similar case over the feature before. GrapheneOS let users configure a Duress pin or password that looks like a normal authentication code, but triggers an irreversible wipe and entered. It is designed for situations where someone is being forced to unlock the device, and there is no confirmation prompt or other clue that would be given away the alternative case. The indictment alleges that Tucker's knowingly deleted his phone's digital content, stopped the government from taking control of the property. He has been charged under federal law that converts the destruction of private property to seizure, effectively placing alleged under the Duress pin of the case. I installed GrapheneOS on my phone, specifically brought it for this occasion. Pixel 10a, more than I would like a Google phone. The standard apps, no email, no WhatsApp. Installed Duress pen password. The Aurora Store, awful decision by the way. Proton VPN are there. Problems with pin codes people tend to use. The incident took place at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in January of 2025 when Tuckett was returning from the Dominican Republic. His attorney says border agents repeatedly demanded access to his phone. They told him that he did not need a warrant. They did not need a warrant after a passcode was entered. The screen reportedly went blank, flashed several times, and appeared to restart. Tucker's legal team is now trying to have the evidence thrown out. It argues that he was questioned without being read his Miranda rights. The agents repeatedly refused his request to speak with a lawyer, and that the phone search was unreasonably seized. His lawyers say that questions about child sexual abuse materials were used as pretext investigation. His allegations links to the movement opposing Atlanta's police training center, commonly known as Cop City. What a fucking... But that's the thing, is these cucks will literally use any type of smear campaign. And the problem with a smear campaign is the second that an official report, if they say it's used for child sexual abuse material or CSAM, you quite literally will get that in a Google search and it will be unfucking searchable for the rest of this person's life. That is irreversible damage. It doesn't matter if they did or they didn't. That's not the point. The point is if they're wrong, they quite literally ruin this person's life for the rest of their life. They will always come up if a job opportunity comes across and they're like, you were charged with sexual abuse, because this is the kind of like flamboyant bullshit that gets put into the Google's SEO. This is why SEO is gay and fucking lame and I hate it. SEO can ruin your future just because you want to remain private and secure. Let's see. were used as a pretext to investigation in his alleged links to the movement opposing Atlanta's police training center, commonly known as Cop City. Cop City's fucking retarded. Like, you know, if he thinks Cop City's gay, he has the right to. A judge is not expected to rule at the moment until at least the end of October. Until then, the case leaves no one of GrapheneOS's most attention-grabbing security feature under security. It's not attention-grabbing, by the way. A duress pin could certainly be the reasoning you should be getting if you're getting mugged, but its used with law enforcement raises other questions. For example, wouldn't it be considered destruction of evidence if the defendant had written on the back of the phone and the officers assumed it was the correct pin? That's just a hypothetical, but the digital privacy experts will certainly be keeping an eye on the particular proceedings, as so will we, and writing shitty articles. That's essentially what it is. It's always like, let's write the shittiest fucking article on the planet with no context and slop SEO. Slop SEO is always the fucking problem. It's not difficult to understand why privacy matters. It's not difficult to understand why security matters. Not everyone is, and like I said, they will take your name and smear it with CSAM because it's the easiest thing to put into an article, and then bam, it's everywhere. Everyone's like, oh, man had CSAM allegations. If he had child sex abuse, awesome, he's in fucking prison forever, hopefully, or and taken care of. But if he's not, which is again not the point, then you just fucking ruined a person's life. That's the point. I use a duress pin to protect my data. Here's how it works and why everyone needs one. From two-factor authentication codes and conversations and photos, our photos contain a ton of sensitive data these days. We rely on pins and biometrics for daily security, but I shudder to think that what would happen if the data landed in the wrong hands, aka the government. And while Android is secure enough against remote attacks and malware these days, what if I'm forced to unlock my phone and hand it over? GrapheneOS, the privacy-focused Android fork, offers a rare solution to this hypothetical: the ability to set a duress pin for a secondary password that wipes your device clean and leaves no trace of your presence. It has a duress pin set up on my phone for a while. While it's not something I hope I ever need, knowing that it gives me the peace of mind, even though I don't think Google will add the feature as an extreme as the one stock. Android. I can definitely see a use case for large extreme implementations. Here's why. The duress pin, what is it? A duress pin is useful for everyone, not just for those with some targeting tools. I mean, it's whatever. It's just a bunch of fucking nonsense. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Is you should be able to set up a duress pin. Definitely go do it. Go on GrapheneOS frequent page and figure out how to do it, why you should do it, and if it fits your threat model. Even if it doesn't fit your threat model and it's not even like that far off of a good idea, everyone should have the access to be able to wipe your device in the event of a mugging, etc., etc. That's why it's not just threat model based. It's where do I live? What do I have on my phone? Should it be even more secured? There's nothing wrong with it. Make a separate PIN, something that you can just enter in quickly and call it a day. Well, guys, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully YouTube stops punishing me, and hopefully you set up a duress pin. This was a very late stream. Super awesome, super based.